Do you want to know why teens need an understanding of roles? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all about parenting, communication, how to build strong family relationships all over the world through the lens of a principle called self-government. And in this video, we're talking about what teens need to understand about roles. In this video, we're going to talk about what roles really are, and then we're going to talk about what are the reasons why a teen needs to understand roles and what can they do about that understanding. Years ago, I wrote this book called Roles: The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success. And I actually thought, with a title like Roles, is anyone even going to read it? Everybody's so opposed to roles nowadays. But actually, it's the roles in our society and in our family that holds everything together and keeps things functional. You see, I've been teaching parenting and communication for a lot of years, and people kept asking me questions like, well, what if your child won't listen to you? Or what if your parent doesn't care? And I would say, well, then that's a roles issue. A parent should always care, and a child should always listen, because a parent is a teacher and a child is a learner. That's their basic roles. Understanding who you are is the most foundational thing that you could understand. And how do we learn who we are? We learn it in the family. So there's father role, mother role, and child roles. But within the children, depending on birth order, age, and developmental level, there's also key little identifiers of roles as well. So the role of a 15-year-old daughter who's an oldest child is going to be slightly different than the role of a 5-year-old son who is the youngest child. Roles matter. The way that we interact with each other is actually a reflection of our understanding of roles. And if we are having dysfunction in our relationship, then what that means is we are not in touch with our roles. If you're a teen and you feel like your parents don't understand you, they don't get it, and they don't care, then maybe you have a roles problem, or they do. Maybe they are just really worried about all their day-to-day things so much that they have forgotten their role to be your confidant and shoulder to cry on and listening ear. Or maybe you're not opening up to them because you're forgetting that they are supposed to be that listening ear. They're supposed to be the person that gives you suggestions and direction in your life. They're the leader. You are the follower. Now, I know it doesn't always work out cookie cutter perfect, because sometimes people fail at their roles and then we have to adjust. But ideally, we all understand who we are to each other, and then we have function in our relationships. We can solve our problems. We have increased peace and happiness in our families, and this leads to increased happiness in all of our future relationships and our endeavors as well. If you would like to understand more about roles, I highly recommend this book. There's an Audible version of it. You can read the book itself. You can find it the cheapest, the audio as well as the written format, on the website teachingselfgovernment.com. You can have the same types of conversations that these teens have with their parents. And if you're the parent, you can have the same types of conversations that the parents had with their children. You don't have to put up with the dysfunction anymore. Just deliberately learn what it sounds like in order to make your relationship more deliberate. What kinds of discussions need to be had so that you understand who you are in the relationship? There are multiple reasons that teens need to understand roles. Let's talk about a few of those. Number one, and this is probably the one that matters to teens the most, and that is understanding. They want to be understood. They want to know that somebody gets them, that somebody cares about them. And if you are going to be understood, then you have to bond with another person. You have to allow yourself to open up to somebody. That's how you get understood. If you are going to open up to another person, you have to know who they are and if you can trust them, right? So understanding the role of parent as the teacher, the leader, the confidant, the protector, the nurturer. Understanding those things about your parents helps you tell yourself that it's okay to open up to them. And them understanding that you are the child who is the learner, right? Your whole life right now is all about education and learning how to advance into the next phase of life called adulthood. For them to recognize that, they should hopefully be able to be a listening ear that's compassionate and caring while they're doing that understanding for you. Understanding the roles is going to open conversation that will lead to more understanding for you. That should make it so that you have more people on your team. You're not so isolated. That's another thing. So many teens are so isolated. They've isolated themselves because they have forgotten that they don't have to go it alone. They've got people with them. It doesn't have to be as overwhelming. There's someone that you can talk to. Another reason that they absolutely need to understand roles is because less drama. There is so much drama in the teenage world. There just is. Who's liking who said what, who talked bad about who, and what I have to do next, and how tired am I, and all of these things can end up manifesting as drama. Well, we don't need drama in the relationship with the parents or with the teachers, really even with the friends or the siblings. If we understand roles in all of our relationships, then what happens is we value each other more and end up having less drama. Usually because we're taking the time to work on our communication because of the value that we have in each other's roles. When we know who each other is and we can communicate better, this leads to better, deeper relationships. This should lead to a sense of belonging for everyone in the relationship. If a person does not have a sense of attachment and belonging to their parent, or if they're the parent, to their child, there's a hole in the person, something that's missing. It ends up leading to a feeling that's unsettling and maybe even anxious feeling. So anxiety can increase if the child does not have a proper sense of attachment or belonging with parent. When you understand roles, that parent is your caretaker. You are the cub, the little cub that they're training to grow up to be the bear for the future. If you understand that, then hopefully you can have a better attachment to them, which will strengthen your relationship as well. Another thing that teens want is respect. They want someone to respect them. Now, I'm sure you've been also told, if you happen to be a teen and you're watching this, that your parents want respect too, right? That's important. So, in order to respect your parents, you need to know who they are. Understanding roles. Get out a piece of paper and write down, mother. What does it mean to be a mother? She's a nurturer. She's the heart and hearthstone of the family. She sets the example. She cares for you. She protects you in her own way. What about father? What does it mean to be a father? He's a protector. He's a provider. He works really hard to try to make sure that the family is watched over. The way that he lives his life actually gives you an example for how you live your life. Both parents protect children by setting proper examples for their children. So respect is super important. If you choose to respect them for who they are, that respect is going to be reciprocal, actually. You respecting them and them respecting you gives you the opportunity to have greater impact. Impact, what does that mean? When a person has impact, that means that there's a ripple effect for their life. So they may touch somebody's life for good, but then that one life touches more and more. Or maybe they touch many lives for good. That is impact. They make a positive difference in the world. If you have a lot of drama in your relationship, if you don't have proper attachment and belonging in your relationship with your parents, quite frankly, you're just not as powerful. If you want to have that impact for your future, to do the great things that you are meant to do, influence the lives, study the things that you are meant to do, you need to be free. Freedom's nice, right? Freedom comes by having your relationships in the right place. It doesn't matter how much license you get to do whatever you want. You will never feel free unless you know and honor the people around you. And your family, they're there for the long haul. Even if you move all the way across the world, they're still there in your heart and in your mind. They're still part of you. So you've got to be at peace with that. You've got to make it good, or at least do the best you can on your side of the relationship. And then you will have that peace and freedom to move out into the world and to have a really substantial impact. Now, there is another video that you're probably going to want to watch that will help you have a greater impact in your life. It's called Communication Hacks for Teens, Parents, and Teachers. This video is going to help you learn how to talk about things so that you can improve your bonds and your role as a learner. So click on the link to that video now.